Hey everyone, it's Scott from Keys Images, and today we're talking again about acrylic prints. Before we get into the prints, I do want to let you know I have two YouTube channels. I have this channel at Keys Images, and this is where I do some product review and a little bit of editing. I have another channel called Wildlife Inspired. Check that out and subscribe. Over there, you'll see live shows with guests. We talk about wildlife photography, and we do some educational things as well as work in the field. So those are my two channels, and here's today's topic. Acrylic prints are a really good option for a lot of reasons. I'll tell you the benefits, why I like them, and then I'll show you two different acrylic prints from two different labs and give you my recommendation on those labs. First, I'll show you what an acrylic print is. Obviously, it's printed on acrylic. Again, there's a couple different ways to do it. And here are the benefits. One, they look stunning. You can see the colors really pop through here. It is a mounted finished surface, so there's no need to frame it. It goes right on the wall. So you reduce any framing costs, and the hanging can be very, very simple. It's also portable. So if you're thinking about doing like shows or taking pieces from one place to another, they work really well. They're durable. Very similar in some ways to metal. And this is a high gloss look. So very similar to a metal. One of the advantages of acrylics over metal is that metal is going to have the print right directly on aluminum usually. And that surface can get scratched or dented. I actually have a couple pieces of aluminum metal that has been scratched or in one case dented. These acrylics tend to be a little bit more durable. So one of the options or one of the reasons that I like the acrylic prints. They come in a couple different price points. So there's a direct mount, which means it is printed directly onto acrylic like this one is, and that generally lowers the cost. There's also a face mounted where they will print onto paper, normally a very high quality paper, often metal or a metallic type paper. And then they'll mount the acrylic to it, put a backer on top. So now you have a backer and the acrylic. So it's a little heavier and a little more structurally sound. All right, let's get into this one first. First of all, you're gonna see some reflection from the light. So there's my lights, and you will see some reflections right on here. And that's because this is a high gloss. If this is near a window or a lighting source, it might show that. So something to keep in mind with both metals and acrylics is if you're in a high gloss look, they will reflect the light and you'll often see that. Now they look visually stunning, so it really does pop the colors. You'll see in here when I hold it up close, it's just one piece of acrylic and then there's the mount on the back. And that's all it is. It's printed right directly on there. This particular one comes from a company called Art to Frames. I've used this company in the past to get a lot of different frames. They do custom sizing, custom woods. Really like them as a company because I don't necessarily print to a specific size. So if I'm working with a client and I have a different need, I can get any wood in any size. So Art to Frames, check them out. And they gave me this one. Now the other one I've got is from Jacks, and I'll show you this one. And before we get any further, I do want to show you, this is that backer I was talking about. So there's the backer, there's the metal paper, and then here's the acrylic. So a little bit heavier, a little bit more sturdy. And with this one, you're going to notice, I'm going to flash it into the light again, and you're going to see, you can still see the light there, but notice it's not a high gloss look. So this is a matte finish. You can pick those finishes. So in this case, I wanted to see the difference between the matte and the gloss. Now, the gloss, it looks a little more visually stunning. The colors really pop. When you put that matte or that anti-glare coating in the acrylic, it's going to cut a little bit of the light so you don't get those reflections, but it's also going to tend to make it look a little duller. So again, you have to kind of know the space you're working in. Not right or wrong here, just two different looks and two different applications. Now, why two different labs? Well, I will tell you that this one is not quite the same quality as this one, but the cost is much less. This one you can get from Art to Frames at under $100. So pretty good value for a 20 to 30. Think about the cost of mounting a 20 by 30 print and framing it, and you're well over $100. So if you like the look, you could certainly go that way. These can run anywhere on the higher quality face mounted acrylics. They can run $200, $300, $400 at this size. So you can get into a higher price point when you're dealing with the higher quality. Now, this one from Jacks is visually flawless. There's nothing wrong with it. Came out perfect. The customer service was great. Highly recommend Jacks at that upper price point. Now this one at the lower price point, from a distance looks really, really good. It's stunning. The colors are great, really pops. And I don't think the camera's gonna pick up on this, but when I got in closer and looked in here, I was able to see a little bit of banding as it went across. So while the higher end print had no flaws, the acrylic print from Art to Frames, as I got real close, I could see a little bit of that banding. From a distance, looked great. So I'm not gonna tell you that I won't recommend it because I don't think it's a flaw in it. I just don't think it's the same quality as the higher end. All right, well, that wraps up the comparison and the review. I hope you learned a little bit about acrylic prints. And again, if you're looking at a value acrylic print, check out that product from Art to Frames, not just for their acrylics, but also for their frames. I think you'll really enjoy that, especially with their custom sizes and the variety that they have available. If you're looking for the higher end prints, check out Bumblejacks. They do a great job with their acrylics and their customer service is great. Don't forget to follow me on Wildlife Inspired. I really think you'll like the content over there. And you can always check me out on Instagram or social media at SKeysImages. That wraps it up for today. Hope you learned a little something and have a great day.